Hi everybody, we are here today on Thursday evening at the time of recording. The TLR boys are at Kettering Conference Centre for what is going to be an exciting weekend of Epic 41 action. Of course, as you can see, I'm joined here by Fett1s. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good stuff, good stuff. And overall, how's the camp feeling?
Yeah, we're all very excited to play. It's nice to finally meet James, Flicky, and Fizan. Fizzy, I've met Fizzy before, but it's nice to actually like have him on the team, be with him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm also very much excited to coach it. I think I'm the only coach at this LAN, which is quite
wow.
surprising, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be a lot of fun.
Well,
So I'm
there you
excited.
go. That's a good thing to actually think about. You got that little X factor going.
Yeah,
Try and take
exactly.
that advantage where you can. Um, yeah, just a point on as well. I think it's very important that you guys get together. Of course, you guys meet in Flicky for the first time, really,
hmm
and really building that team cohesion. Because to be fair, this season, especially for ESCA and especially Div One, you guys are looking dynamite. So you get that cohesion going. Obviously, you're going to be looking good. How do you feel the season's gone so far? Obviously, leading up to LAN, especially the past couple of weeks.
I think the season's gone really well. Obviously last season was not the best for us. I think after we came off of LAN, it seemed like online or LAN to online CS was night and day. So it was like a very big struggle to readapt. So coming into this season, um, I think we're a lot more warm. We're prepared. Like we know each other and stuff is working. We're working together a lot better. In terms of diff the UKIC, we obviously did really well on beating Verdant. I think that went incredibly well. Like everybody was firing all cylinders. Adam was calling really well. Flicky was hitting every orb shot. So yeah, that's been great. So we have, was it 3 more games of ESEA, hoping to make playoffs again and hopefully advance, although advance is a lot harder to get this time, so that'll be very tough. But you know,
Of course, I mean, you guys keep
enjoy it.
going the way you're going, and the sky's the limit. Especially, advanced
Mhm.
is still a possibility. So yeah, make sure you guys keep going on that. So, looking at the format of obviously the new group stage, the new Friday setup that we have, Fettis, how do you guys feel in terms of how that looks? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What are the pros and cons?
So I really like it. I think some people don't like it because some people can't play face lower skill teams and kind of farm stats or enjoy themselves, and then they go into like too hard games.
Yeah.
With every game being hard, it means that you actually have competition. It also means for the lower skill teams, they actually will play other lower skill teams so they can enjoy themselves and win instead of just enjoying themselves and losing. So they actually get some wins instead of just getting like playing some top team and then just like losing 13-0 or 13-1. If they find it fun, then so be it. But
Yeah.
I guarantee you that they will much more enjoy it if they win. Um, yeah, I think that it's very good. Yeah, because it's gonna be very mentally taxing. Because every round is gonna count. You can't like relax. But I think more people are gonna be fighting exactly for their seeds. You actually get the seed you want,
Mhm.
which is incredibly important. Um, because if you're like, say, second seed in a group and you lose to third seed, then suddenly your elimination stage is a lot different.
Yeah.
Um, so if you're able to actually get your seed and work for it, then you feel like more honest with yourself because that's like what you've got. So I definitely think Mischief has drawn up something really good, and hopefully it's used more at Epic Lands. But obviously that's just my initial opinion. We'll have to see how it gets tested out in games tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That's the thing. You're never really going to know what to expect until you really participate in it and witness it, firsthand. And I
Exactly.
think if it does go well, they'll probably stick with it. Epic are going to expect a lot more teams to be, participating. But obviously, with that being said, you are going to be playing against the higher teams a lot more frequently. Of course, if you keep winning, you're going to be playing, the top teams in the actual event. So, do you
Yeah.
see that as like an advantage or a disadvantage? Whereas before in Epic, you maybe have played like a really top team, maybe first seed, second seed, wherever you were, and then you have a bit of like downtime with quotation marks against like the bottom seed, and maybe you don't take it as serious. It's not really true prac because, with all due respect to the lower teams, the difference between the top two seeds are so far apart. So, do you think you can take that as a positive, the fact you're playing against good competition consistently, or do you think it's going to be like a bit, taxing in terms of the mental, in terms of like the actual energy you're going to have to
Mm.
use for those games?
I think it's going to be an advantage in the fact that you can find out like more what more issues are because obviously officials on LAN are a lot different to Prax at home, for example.
Yeah.
So we can easily talk about stuff, and obviously instead of just facing off against say if we were fifth seed, fourth groups, and we just play the neighbors, right, Smea's team. Um, if we just play them once, we don't know like how other teams play
Mhm.
like. Then as soon as it gets like further into the group, into the elimination stage, then we kind of like have a grasp on how a team plays. So I think as advantages and as disadvantages, because like as advantages like we know like how other teams will play for when we play them, but the disadvantages other teams know how we play,
Yeah.
so they can start to predict stuff. Obviously that comes with being in a team. I think is better because we can change styles, have different calls and everything. But like if you come in a mix, then you're kind of only gonna have like one rough way of playing. Um, so yeah, I'd probably say it's an advantage in terms of learning, is a disadvantage in terms of like having other teams like prepare for you. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one that I think is going to be a bit Marmite in a way, in my opinion, as well. I think you're going to have some teams, especially as you said, the lower skill teams, who are going to have more winnable games. With all due respect,
Hmm.
yeah, I think they're going to probably enjoy it a bit more than the top echelons because, as you said, Friday of Epic is always extremely taxing.
Yeah,
Mentally, especially some of the games can go on for really late if you can't get ESCA games rescheduled, which has happened in the past, especially on like the Thursday when some teams are having to play
yeah,
late Thursday. It can
yeah,
be a bit of a disaster in itself.
yeah. The part-timers team had to play a main game. I don't know. Matthew's team had to go play a Div 3 game as well. So
Yeah,
obviously Atlanta's nice, but obviously not as comfortable than your home setup. So yeah, that is sometimes an issue. We've luckily have been able to reschedule our ACA games.
yeah.
So thank you for those teams for actually doing it.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of like the other teams and in general, of course, you're going to be looking at yourselves and what you can do. Is there anyone that you think you need to look out for, especially with those early games? Are there any maybe teams that have been given a lower seed than what you expected? How do you guys feel in
Mhm.
terms of the teams around you?
The team I probably have to say are like by far people underrated is Royals, 100%. I honestly think like they're almost a top five team. Um, I know they can shoot. They have the skill. They've had multiple players that played in advance. They had Jane, who was one of the best, I think, French players on Face It, in CS:GO, like 2 years back, and that doesn't like that shouldn't be reflected on like negatively. Like
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of teams like really shy away from them. I think Raptors will surprise some people. Obviously they've got Palm One, they've got Rutko who's on a Tropic Prague, and they got Midgard who I know is like he's pretty good. I don't really know who he's replacing, but like they have people that can shoot back.
Yeah,
Um, so I think this happens a lot in the UK scene. People kind of underestimate other teams. So people need to like give a lot of people credit. Like for example, some people will say like, "Oh, Jack B's team haven't played CS that much, they're not going to do well." Of course, they're going to do well. They've been like the top level main for multiple
yeah,
seasons. They have Cypher. Um, I don't need to introduce him. It's
of
Cypher.
course,
Like
yeah.
he's just got to delete people.
Hmm.
Like exactly, people have to keep their A game, and you can never doubt any team. Like I think we're playing Kika first game. Like as much as you want to like badmouth them, because I'm friends with Kika, but Kika can still shoot back. He has Sorex who can shoot back. His LTH I know can IGL. So that's obviously going to be a tough game. So you can't you can never underestimate these teams because as soon as you start underestimating, they're getting rounds and suddenly you've lost to them. So
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of like obviously that being said, how do you feel the guys are prepared and what have you guys done to prepare in the days coming up to Epic?
We've currently just focused on map pool stuff. Obviously, we have maps for ESCA,
Yeah.
but we've obviously prepared everything for best of threes, so that at least we're going into those games where if someone picks a map we don't like, then we have stuff we can call. We have data we can fall back on. It's obviously not going to be as dry run, and everything, but yeah, that should all be fine. Like we've practiced, we've tried out the map, we can do stuff on it. So we have like yeah, that's how we prepared.
Yeah. I guess yeah. You can do only really as much as well what you've really played so far. Of course, you guys have played a lot of overpassed officials already,
Hmm.
especially as of recent. I can imagine. Again, I'm not gonna ask you guys to reveal your map pool. I'm not sure when this is gonna go out, but yeah, I can't only imagine that you guys are gonna try and get overpass in there. I look forward to seeing it, and we
Hmm.
look forward to seeing the boys in action across the weekend. And who knows, if you have a good Friday followed by a good Saturday, the world's your oyster, and you could be there on Sunday on
That would
stage.
be lovely.
Do you have anything to say on behalf of yourself and the team before we lead off tonight?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to TLR, uh, to Chef, to Mike for allowing us to come here, especially for our sponsors as well. They've been great. Honey Goat have provided us with energy drinks and Hamilton Rentals. Special shout out to them for providing me with a monitor, Rick with a PC so he can actually compete. I think that PC is actually better than all of ours, and I just bought my PC, so fair enough to them.
Yeah, fair dues.
Uh, yeah, so definitely shout out to our organization, of course, for supplying us, especially with some lovely merch as well. We've got hats, shirts, jumpers. It's been great. Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
could see you repping one of the hats now. They're looking pretty
yeah,
fresh, I can't lie.
yeah. I like this hat. Adam really loves the beanie, which is good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
nice
I'm
one.
definitely a fan of the apparel.
All right, well, thanks very much for joining us. I look forward to watching
Thank you for
it
having me.
tomorrow, and yeah, wish you guys the best. I'm not sure who I'm going to speak to tomorrow. I'm speaking to someone, but yeah,
Hmm.
hopefully it's going to be a very fun and happy interview. Thank you,
It should
Fett1s.
be. All right, thank you very much.
Cheers.